Hello and welcome to another episode of Crypto TV. I'm Ornella Hernandez, here to talk all things Web3 and crypto. On today's show, I'm going to talk about my experience at a couple of recent international events that I've attended in Hong Kong and Paris. So stay tuned. I've been traveling a lot in the past few weeks. The first stop was Hong Kong, and the next stop was Paris, France. What was I doing there? Attending blockchain events, of course. Let me tell you all about it. So I went to Hong Kong for the first time, and the main reason was to attend a conference called the WOW Summit. WOW stands for World of Web3, naturally. You can watch the video recap up on Web3 TV, but I'm going to give you a little recap now. It was a conference like any other. 2 speaker stages and an expo hall full of booths. However, it was definitely a smaller affair than I had imagined and traveled 8 hours in a plane for. Not something to be wowed about necessarily, especially given that it was in a convention center next to the airport and not something that I can't find in any other crypto conference. Nevertheless, I got to know a new city. And secondly, I got to learn more about the Web3 and crypto community in Asia, a region that I personally have not explored very much. And when I asked my friend Jeffrey Chui how he would describe that community, he said the following.
Well, it's becoming more and more institutional, right? So people were here before, they went over to Singapore, some have moved to Dubai, a lot are now coming back. There's a lot more regulatory clarity. Stablecoins, retail CBDC, wholesale CBDC, and financial institutions feeling comfortable building solutions here.
Great. So which of these narratives that you just mentioned interests you the most in your position at Hashgraph?
Oh, wow. So, self-servingly, Hedera has built a stablecoin studio. And so I would have to say stablecoins. And Hong Kong has recently given a really good mandate and clarity on how these stablecoins should actually be built, how they should be custodied, what they could be used for. So I really do think there's a lot of opportunity for financial institutions, stablecoin issuers, and builders looking to come to Hong Kong to develop something good for everyday people.
So he spoke about how founders and developers had left Hong Kong due to regulatory unclarity at one point, but that now with legislation on stablecoins and virtual asset over-the-counter services, things are looking peachy again. He urges developers to please come back.
What would you say to those builders that were going through it during the bear markets and have survived now that the bull market is on the horizon? What advice would you give them to those builders?
You mean here for Hong Kong or just in general?
In general.
Okay.
Or those that are in Hong Kong.
Well, let me start with the ones that are for, let's say, Hong Kong. So if you've left and you're building something novel, something unique, something amazing, bring it back, right? There's lots of programs here that are open to taking your own projects, and there's a really good community starting up here as well again. So please come back, right? You can stay where you are, but you come back. And then for everyone who's looking at trying to maximize this bull market, this next run, I'd say fundamentally look at historically what happened in the past, but also price in and actually anticipate all of the institutional flows. Right? I think it's very important that we take a measured and calculated approach. I think this time around there's going to be a lot more maturity in how the bull market actually shapes up and grows. And
I hope so.
And in the latest news, Hong Kong regulators approved the launch of a spot Bitcoin and Ether exchange traded funds, or ETFs. So this is significant because while the United States regulators have approved spot Bitcoin ETFs, it has yet to greenlight Ether ones, although it is likely on the horizon. So Hong Kong approved both at the same time, when, I remind you, crypto trading is effectively still banned in mainland China after a massive crackdown on the sector in 2021. So this most recent move proves that Hong Kong has slowly been trying to make itself a regulated crypto hub. And by the way, Hong Kong is considered a special administrative region, or a SAR, of the People's Republic of China. Macau is another SAR, and each territory has its own currency and economy. Now, back to my interviews. Another wow chat that I had was with Ray Chan. You guys know him? Ray Chan is the founder of 9gag, which is a huge meme sharing platform. Well, recently, Chan founded another platform called Memeland to share NFTs. And I got to first talk to him as my panelist up on stage and then do a little one-on-one with him. So while on stage, he said that his goal is to make Web3 suck less. So of course, I had to ask why he thinks it sucks in the first place. And this was his answer.
The way that I say NFT sucks, actually, it has like double meaning, right? Number one, it sucks in a way that it sucks a lot of your time and money, right? Because if you are into it, you actually spend a lot of time looking at the market, right? Buying NFT that you like or you think that they will go up, right? That's number one. And then one that sucks is, hey, if it is really that great, how come only so little people, right? So few people actually buying it, right? I mean, when you look at the active wallets from all these like marketplaces, maybe less than like 100,000 people, right? But when we talk about applications in the Web2 world, DAU should be at least like 1 million, right? So I believe that it sucks. Maybe in the experience, right? Maybe in the promise, right? Maybe in the, I would say, quote-unquote utility. I think those are the things that we need to think really hard on how to improve it, right? Because we can't, I mean, this is the one thing that I don't like when we talk to people who think that they're OG. Because the thing is, OG means that they are not very evolving, right? They're not evolving. They're always, oh, the original idea is the best, right? But sometimes, I would say most of the time, the first version of the product may be great at that time, but not great, right? Let's say your iPhone, right? iPhone 15 probably is better than iPhone 1, right? But it doesn't mean that, oh, iPhone 1 loses its value, right? But we have to continue to evolve because if it's really that great, then everyone should be into Web3 already, right? But the fact is, it's not, right? So that means that there are a lot of things that we still have to do better.
Indeed, a lot of things we still have to improve on. And if you're interested in his latest project, then check out Memeland, a Web3 focused venture studio. Here's the website. It had 3 NFT collections out so far and a new one dropping soon. So check it out if you are curious or a fan of Ray Chan. Now, at the end of each interview, I asked everyone that I spoke to the same question. To choose an important memory in their lives, a wow moment, I called it, that they would tokenize on-chain as an NFT, either from their professional careers or their personal lives. Some got really deep, like Ray Chan.
I have 2 sons. Our first son, he passed away when he was like 3 months old due to flu. I mean, we hire a photographer to take photos of that, right? Of the last day that he has, because after that day, we actually can't see him anymore, right? So I would love to have this on chain, maybe not for selling, right? But more like actually make it like soulbound, because I want to make this live forever, right? This is one of the promises that blockchain can actually do, right? So I would tokenize that, right, for myself, for my family.
While others kept it light, like Jeffrey.
Oh my goodness, the first time I bungee jumped. Yeah, so actually, I'm not promoting Macau, but if you go to Macau, it's one of the highest bungee jumping spots in the world. And if you go there, try it, I would definitely tokenize that.
Or Mel Gelderman, the CEO of Token.com.
So I recently got my pilot license, and like just one of the reasons I work in Web3 is because it enables financial freedom, right? Well, I'm into all kinds of freedom, right? And one of those is the freedom of movement. And the ultimate form of that is to get your pilot license, in my opinion.
So bungee jumping and getting a pilot license. That certificate can definitely be tokenized as a soul-bound NFT. And this is actually becoming more and more common in education too. Soul-bound diplomas, for example. Tokenizing accomplishments that are unique to you. So I want to hear from you guys. What would be your wow moment that you would like to turn into an NFT? Could be anything that you would like to immortalize on chain, an achievement, a person, an experience. Let me know in the comments. I want to know. Something that I would definitely turn into an NFT if I could would be my most recent travels. You see, Hong Kong was just one stop. I went from Dubai to Hong Kong, then Hong Kong to United States, then US to Paris, and from Paris back to Dubai. So I went all around the globe, and that was my first time circling the earth like that. So I think it would be pretty cool to commemorate this itinerary somehow visually with an NFT. And if you guys have any ideas out there, then let me know. So overall, I thought that Hong Kong was a very fun and vibrant city, easy to get around, fun to walk around, lots to see and do, and good food. The week that I was there was also Art Week, So the Art Basel show was taking place as well, and a lot of people were in town for that, in addition to the WOW Summit, of course. So the city was packed for sure. But the local crypto community is strong, and as Jeffrey said, it's back. I'll definitely be visiting again. Now on to my next stop, Paris, France. The main event was Paris Blockchain Week, which is one of Europe's largest events. This was the 5th year of programming, but my first year attending, and boy was I blown away by the scale of this one, at least compared to the Hong Kong WOW Summit. Paris Blockchain Week certainly made me go wow, mainly because of the venue. It was in none other than the Louvre Museum. Yeah, that Louvre Museum, where the Mona Lisa is. So picture booths of Layer 2 projects or the latest Web3 game with founders and reps shilling their products among masterpieces like the Venus de Milo or the Raft of Medusa. No, I'm just kidding. We weren't actually inside the galleries. We were in what is called the carousel of the museum, which is the shopping area that's managed by Westfield Malls. So that's gift shops, clothing, jewelry stores, and restaurants that is open to the public. So the actual conference was adjacent to the galleries of the Louvre. And we were in this huge event venue inside the halls of the museum, the former palace to the French monarchs, now a national art museum and part-time blockchain conference venue. So this was a 3-day conference and around 10,000 people registered for it. I attended the first 2 days of it and I can attest to it being packed those whole 2 days. I conducted over 20 interviews, moderated a panel, and I ate lots of croissants when in France. I'll highlight a couple of my most memorable conversations for you. I sat down with Alex Dreyfus, who is the CEO of the sports blockchain Chiliz and the consumer-facing app to trade fan tokens that's called Socios. So think of owning fan tokens as like being part of a membership club. So if you're a fan of the Italian football club Juventus or the French club Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, then as a token holder, you can vote on decisions of the sports club. For example, choosing the music that the players make their entrance onto the field to. Well, PSG very recently became the first soccer team to validate the Chiliz blockchain. So this means that the club will reinvest the proceeds from being a validator into buying back PSG fan tokens. I'll let Alex explain this more.
So PSG was the first to launch a fan token with us, signed in 2018. Now they became the first club to become a validator of the chain. And it's very interesting because we want Chiliz chain to become more and more decentralized, of course, but we would like, my dream as an entrepreneur, is that the chain would be fully decentralized by sports property. So PSG was the first one. There will be more. There is actually the South Korean League already as well. And I'd like a chain that in a few years will have hundreds of validators that are sports property. What's the benefit of a sports property to be a validator is to get rewards as a chain. So they stake Chiliz, they get rewards. PSG did something cool, which is very crypto, but I guess it's your audience, is the staking rewards generated by the PSG validators is being used on-chain to buy back PSG token. So the Chiliz that they are earning through the validator will be used to buy back PSG on-chain.
So basically this means that the more activity around the token, the more revenue the team creates. This is a whole new revenue source for sports teams. And Alex told me that in the 6 years that they've been working together, PSG has generated at least $40 million in revenue, thanks to Chiliz. That is a decent amount of money if you ask me. So personally, these types of use cases for Web3 really make sense to me and should be explored a lot more. And I say this because after going to so many events and conferences, I also witnessed a lot of talent, energy, and resources that are being deployed into products that don't really generate a lot of societal value. For example, there is a lot of conversations around airdrop hunting or restaking, attempts to basically recreate traditional finance models, or fractionalizing luxury goods, or shilling the latest meme coin, or GameFi video game. These things are all well and good, but there are a lot of real world challenges that I'd like to see blockchain tech being leveraged more for, or at least talked about more. So when I asked John Woods, the Chief Technology Officer at Algorand, what he'd like to see more of, he gave two answers. Listen to this.
The first is interoperability is important. That's not just bridging liquidity between these networks. It's not just like, oh, does my shitcoin on ledger A exist on ledger B? Instead, it's like, how can we do ISO type standardization? Can we define exactly how an option or a swap or a bond or a coupon or whatever looks at a base level, and then keep that data model intact across all the different chains, so that when you bridge your assets, you don't need to also then have some kind of translation on the data model, right? You can just assume that this is what an option looks like in Web3. I think that's important, that level of interoperability, and that takes people to stand back and drop the partisanship, right? To stand back and not be so biased towards their own standards, and to kind of reach a place that they are in non-partisan agreement as to what standards are. That's one thing, and the second thing is the user experience. It still sucks, I think. This 24-word stuff. Of course, there is an information theory limit on the representation of a private key, and of course we have to represent it in some way, but there are definitely things we can do better than what we're doing today.
So interoperability and a better UX. I hear this one a lot. One phrase, however, that I had not heard before that I loved came from Silvina Moschino, the founder of Unicoin. Hear this.
We believe that transparency is the new black, so we are offering the opportunity to have a coin that is fully transparent, public reporting, backed by a lot of assets, and does have women flavor, which is in crypto, more and more women are investing because...
So transparency is the new black, I guess. As in, the ability to trace and verify transactions on a blockchain is in fashion and on trend. What do you guys think about this? Is too much transparency a good thing? Or a bad thing if it compromises user privacy? Perhaps. One thing I do agree with Silvina on is that more and more women are investing more and more in crypto and learning about blockchain, which is amazing. So let's keep it up, ladies. And at the end of my interviews, I also asked a non-blockchain question because I was genuinely curious about what people thought about the city of Paris. I personally love it. I studied and lived there for a bit. I like to speak French too, so I always have a good time. But when I asked others what their favorites and least favorite things about the city are, here's what they had to say.
Favorite will be that I think Paris is beautiful.
Definitely my favorite thing is the food.
For me, I love the food.
I think the overall vibe is just amazing.
My favorite thing in Paris is just to walk the streets. It's incredible.
I love the ambience. I love the fashion. People know how to dress well here.
Paris is just a beautiful city. The people here are nice. The cafes on the street,
I'm French. I will not do a French bashing, but the atmosphere.
Paris smells.
I still think that regulation could be further improved to allow for a greater inclusion.
You can always criticize the Parisians about, complaining that they pay too much tax and this kind of stuff. But deep down, I enjoy those conversations too. So, not much.
There you have it. Most people said food as their favorite thing, and others can't deal with the smell or the people. As for me, I'd have to say how pretty Paris can be. No matter how many times you go, I'm always in awe of the beauty of its architecture and landmarks. If you want to hear what else these people had to say, then make sure to watch the interviews that I conducted at Paris Blockchain Week and at WOW Summit in Hong Kong too. All the videos are up on Web3 TV and links are in the description, so go watch and let me know what you think. And stay tuned for more Web3 TV coverage coming out of Dubai this week. Over 300 events were planned during these last 2 weeks of April, so it feels like the whole Web3 and blockchain community will be congregated in this Gulf city next. The main event is Token 2049, its first edition in Dubai, in addition to Singapore and London. And of course, me and the Web3 TV team will be there to cover it as media partners. It will be my first time ever at Token 2049, so I'm very excited to check it out and do interviews. I'm also looking forward to clearer skies. You see, the United Arab Emirates experienced the largest rainfall it has seen in the past 74 years this week, weathering almost a year's worth of rain in just under 24 hours, which caused major flooding, delays, and accidents all over the Emirates. So this may have impeded some travel plans for those coming to town and those already in town especially. But nevertheless, we carry on and hodl on. The show must go on, as they say. So next week, I'm going to tell you guys all about my experience at Token 2049. And in the meantime, let's check out how the market is doing and see what the price of Bitcoin is at the moment.
Bitcoin is currently trading at $63,099. Ether's price is at $3,548 today. TIA of Celestia is down 12% this past week and trading now at $10.17, while Toncoin is in green trading at $6.37.
And that is all for today. Thank you for tuning in to Crypto TV. Make sure to give this video a like and check out other Web3 coverage on our page, especially Paris and Hong Kong recaps and interviews. I'll see you guys next week.